Hello students, welcome back to the class of Sonia Munjal. Today I am taking chapter 3 of civics, why do we need a parliament? Let's begin the chapter with an introduction. We in India pride ourselves on being a democracy. From this line it is clear that India is a democratic country. In fact, India has a largest democracy in the world. Here, we will try to understand the relation between the ideas of decision making. This decision making gives the idea of people participation actually, and the need for all democratic governments to have the consent of their citizens. Now, these two elements are very important in democratic government. Actually, these elements make the government a democratic government, because if the government do not allow its people, its citizens to participate in decision making, or if the government do not have consent of their citizens or do not have approval of their citizens, then that kind of government is not called democratic government, because democratic government is based on this concept that people should have the power, people should be able to participate in the decision making, and the government should be able to win the trust of its citizens, should be able to get the approval of the citizens to run the administration of the country. So these two elements are very important in a democratic country. And actually, these elements make a country as a democratic country. And this is best expressed in the institution of the parliament. So here it is very important to know what is parliament. Before proceeding towards this parliament, this thing should be clear in your mind that India is a democratic country and India is following a parliamentary form of government. India is having a parliamentary form of government where people choose their representatives, and those representatives will run the government or will form the government. So, now what is Parliament? Parliament is the legislative organ. I hope you remember this word legislative. It's derived from legislature, which is a law making organ of the government. So, Parliament is actually the law making body of the country, which helps in the smooth functioning of the country. It is a law making body. Now what parliament is made up of? Parliament किससे बना है? It is made up of our chosen representatives. It means those representatives, those chosen representatives will actually makes the law for the country. And this parliament enables citizens of India to participate in decision making. How we participate in decision making of the country? This is very important to understand. Right now, I told you that India is having a parliamentary form of government where we choose our representative. See, it is not possible for all the people to go to the parliament and can participate in the decision making process. You can imagine what the situation will be if all the people will go to Delhi to participate in the parliament. It is practically not possible. We all cannot sit in the parliament. We here means the adult citizens who have the power to vote, who have the power to choose their representatives. So all those adult citizens cannot directly participate in the decision making process. So that's why we choose our representatives through elections, and that chosen representatives will further sit in the parliament and act on our behalf. Then, control the government. How we can control the government? Government has power, but who has given power to the government? Power कहाँ से मिली government को? Power is given to the government by the common people, by the adult citizens of the country, by giving vote to them. गवर्नमेंट को पावर लोगों से मिली है. गवर्नमेंट, डेमोक्रेटिक गवर्नमेंट इज व्हाट इज डेमोक्रेटिक गवर्नमेंट? गवर्नमेंट ऑफ द पीपल, फॉर द पीपल एंड बाय द पीपल. And in this way the people can control the government. Suppose if the existing government is not able to fulfill the needs of the people, or to it's not possible for the government to fulfill the promises which are being made by the government, then the people have the right to replace the existing rulers in the next general elections. So in this way we can control the government. But this decision making and the controlling the government, this is indirect process. Means indirectly we can participate in the decision making process through our representatives, and with the concept that we have the right to choose the or right to choose the new representatives, or we can replace the existing representatives in the next general elections. So these two elements are the symbol of the Indian democracy, and it is the important feature of the Indian constitution as well. And that's why we need a parliament, because it fulfills the promises of a democratic government. Now, why people should be empowered to decide what kind of government should come? From where this idea came? लोगों को ही पावर क्यों मिली है कि वो डिसाइड करें कौन से रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स पार्लियामेंट में जाएंगे, कौन से रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स गवर्नमेंट बनाएंगे, एंड फ्रॉम वेयर दिस आइडिया केम? वी नो दैट इंडिया गॉट its independence in 1947. We know about the Indian national movement, the freedom struggles, and in that nationalist movement the freedom fighters were there who belonged to the different sections of society and who cherished the ideas of freedom, equality, and participation in decision making, which they learned from their past experiences. Now what past experiences? क्या थे उनके past experiences? And even they were inspired by the ideas of the other free countries and all that things they wanted in their own country. So now the question, what past experiences? क्या थे past experiences? We know that after a long struggle for independence of India, India finally became free on 15th of August 1947, and ever since then we have a democratic government. Now a struggle which saw the participation of many people from the different sections of the society. They were coming together for a common goal of independence. And the reason why people from various backgrounds joined the struggle was because they were inspired by the ideas of freedom, equality, and पार्टिसिपेशन इन डिसीजन मेकिंग. जितने भी फ्रीडम फाइटर्स या जितने भी नेशनलिस्ट रहे हैं, दे वर इंस्पायर्ड बाय दीज आइडियाज़. सो they were also inspired by the thought that in the independent India, their opinions will matter in the form of votes, especially where the important decision regarding the nation concerned. But in the colonial era, that was not the case. In fact, the British never considered the welfare of Indian people on whom they were ruling, to such an extent that they just made laws that would only benefited them, that would only benefited the British crown. Means the British government made the laws in such a way that were directly favorable to them, not to the Indians, not to the Indian people. So there were many rules, many laws which people had to follow that were absolutely unfair and that violated many of their freedoms. But sadly, Indian people had to live under such an oppressive colonial rule for a very long time. सबको पता था कि जितने भी लॉज पॉलिसीज ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट बना रही है दैट वर एब्सोल्युटली बाइज्ड, अनफेयर है वो, बट स्टिल पीपल हैड टू फॉलो देम. And that time there was a fear going against the British rule that British government might put them in danger if they try to criticize their decisions. So people scared of the British government, means they didn't criticize their decisions. But then the freedom movement changed the entire situation. The nationalists began to openly criticize the British government. They also started making a lot of demands from the British government. And in the era 1885, Indian National Congress said that they wanted the elected members in the legislature. The Indian National Congress demanded for the elected members in the legislature. We know that Indian National Congress, it was a first political organization in India and it came into existence in 1885. So it demanded the representation of the Indians so that they had the right to discuss the budget and ask questions. Now, in response to all these demands, the Government of India Act 1909 was passed. Means when the demands were put by the Indian National Congress, the British government passed this act, Government of India Act 1909. And this act brought about a limited increase of Indians in the governance of British India. It allowed for some elected representation. Here the some word is very important because it tells us something, that is, even though the act was made in the response to the growing Indian demands, but it was just made to quiet the voices of the nationalist. इस एक्ट से ये पता चला कि ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट ने, ब्रिटिश इंडिया ने एक्ट बना दिया जिससे लिमिटेड रिप्रेजेंटेशन मिली इंडियंस को. दैट वाज अनफेयर बिकॉज ऑल adults were not given voting rights. But it was a step forward, no doubt. The Indians still had a long way to go before they could the kind of government that was able to understand their needs. Now, one thing is clear from all of this. It is that the early legislature that was under the British government were just made in response to the growing demands of nationalists कि अर्ली लेजिस्लेचर में लोगों को इंडियंस को रिप्रेजेंटेशन मिली जस्ट to suppress the demands of the nationalist. But there were many conditions to this reform, like all adults were not allowed to vote. Also, people could not participate in decision making processes under British rule. All of these things gave the nationalists who were fighting for freedom a vision of how things should be after India gained its independence. They aspired that all people in independent India would be able to participate in the decision making process of their government. And after independence, they were going to be citizens of free country. And once they were free, they were determined to have government that would be fair, unbiased, as well as efficient. That's why efforts were made to create such kind of government, and that's why this concept is given that people should decide, people should have power to choose their representatives, as they are built on the principle of equality and freedom. A government that would not do what it felt like. गवर्नमेंट की मर्जी नहीं है कि वो कुछ भी कर सकती है. A government that would sensitive towards the needs and demands of its people. And these dreams and aspiration of the freedom struggle are seen in the Indian Constitution, as it was written after being inspired by these ideas. And important thing to note that the constitution laid down the principle of universal adult franchise, which means that all adult citizens of the country have the right to vote. So why should people decide? I hope this concept is clear to you, because it was totally based on the past experiences of the nationalist or the freedom struggle. Now, the next one is people and their representative. By now, I think it's clear to you that people choose their representatives because people are supreme in democracy. People are the ultimate source of power. In a democracy, first of all, this democracy, the whole idea of democracy is based on consent. When I say consent, I mean the desire, the approval, and participation of the people in running the country or in running the government. मीन्स लोगों की डिज़ायर होनी चाहिए, अप्रूवल होनी चाहिए, उनकी पार्टिसिपेशन होनी चाहिए इन चूजिंग देयर रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स हु विल अल्टीमेटली फॉर्म द गवर्नमेंट टू रन द कंट्री. So the simple definition, again I am repeating that government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So the people word, this is a basic principle on which the foundation of a democratic government is laid upon. That's why people are considered to be equal to the government, because people are the ultimate source of power in the democratic country. So basically, when I'm talking about democracy, I'm saying that each citizen is equally important, and in principle the government as well as other public institution need to have the trust of the citizens. They can only function when they have the trust of the citizens. Now, how does the individual or a citizens give approval to the government? I told you that these are the take off points of a democracy. Consent होना ज़रूरी है, approval होना ज़रूरी है, उनकी participation होना ज़रूरी है. All these are the take off points for a democracy. But how does the individual give approval to the government, give consent to the government? And the answer for it is through elections. People elect their representatives in the parliament by election. So this is a one way of doing, that people would elect their representatives to the parliament, then one group from among these elected representatives forms the government. And how one group? Here one group means the majority party. India is having multi-party system. So many national and regional parties are in India. So the party which is able to secure maximum representation, that party is allowed to form the government. So the parliament is made up of all representatives together, controls and guides the government. In this sense, people through their chosen representatives form the government and also control it. Because this we I say you that India is a democratic country, or India is having democratic government. We have that democratic government in the form of representation. So we can say that India is having representative democracy, where we choose our representatives and that representatives will form the government and will run the country. Now, people and their representative, we know that elections are very important activity of the country. So this photo shows that election staff is using elephant to carry EVM. I hope you know that this EVM, this is electronic voting machine, and this electronic voting machines were used throughout the country for the first time in 2004 in general elections. And the use of EVMs in 2004 saved around 1,50,000 trees, which would have been cut to produce about 8,000 tons of paper for printing the ballot papers. Because before the introduction of this EVMs, the elections took place in the form of the with the help of the ballot papers. And besides that EVMs, the election staff is carrying polling materials also to those areas which are very means which are very difficult to locate, or which are located in remote areas. So this process is very difficult process, but election staff has to do all these things to carry out the smooth functioning of this election. Now, the next one is, who are people in the parliament? This we know that the parliament represents the people, and people living in a country, means people are considered to be a nation, so people represents the nation. Parliament now has more and more people from different backgrounds. For example, there are more rural members and members from many regional parties. Groups and peoples that were till now unrepresented are beginning to get elected to the parliament. Means there has been increase in the political participation from Dalit and backward classes, and even from the rural areas and from the different regional parties also. Earlier these were unrepresented, or very less representation was there, but now there has been increase in the political participation. Now for this Dalit and backward class, to ensure that communities, especially these communities that have been historically marginalized, means they were considered in the past they were considered to be as the outsider from the mainstream of the society, so they were not given adequate representation. So now, to give more chances of representation to these communities, reservation of seats in parliament have been made for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. And similarly, there has been demand for the reservation of seats for women. Why? It has been observed that representative democracy cannot produce a perfect reflection of society sometimes. कि हम कह देते हैं कि हमने अपने रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स को चुना है और वही गवर्नमेंट चला रहे हैं, बट कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि रिप्रेजेंटेशन प्रॉपर ही नहीं होती है फ्रॉम द डिफरेंट बैकग्राउंड, फ्रॉम द डिफरेंट सेक्शंस ऑफ द सोसाइटी. And this is the case with the women, and even with this with the members of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. That's why the seats have been reserved for them in the various constituencies. But for the women, due to very low representation of women MPs in the parliament, and to make parliament truly representative, there has been a demand for the reservation of seats for women. The issue, however, this is just a demand. This issue is still being debated. 60 years ago, only 4% of MPs, means member of parliaments, were women, and today it is just about more than 9%. This is a small share when you consider the fact that half the population are women. So just a 9% or more than 9% is very less representation of the women. So in this session we have discussed about how the parliament enables its citizens to participate in decision making process and control the government through their consent. And this is the table which shows the voter turnout ratio of the different general elections. In the next video, we will discuss the key functions and composition of parliament, because after forming the parliament, what is the role being played by the parliament, and what is the structure of the parliament, what is the composition of the parliament, that I'll take in the next session. So stay tuned, and till then keep learning.